Well, hello and good morning, folks. Well, I'm standing here on the side of Faraway Hills, or on the side of a faraway hill. The weather is a little bit blustery, to say the least. It's been raining most of the morning, and I suppose I could call this the quiet before the storm. What storm am I talking about? Well, the powers to be in the Met Office are telling us that Storm Kathleen is on its way with much ferocity. It's been raining since about the 9th or the 10th of February, and it's not given up. We have consistent low pressure fronts heading in from the Atlantic. It's quite mild right now. It's 11 degrees. I don't find it cold. It's quite breezy, very cloud-cast overhead. Visibility not good, but I'm alive and I'm doing what I want to do this morning, is being out in the great outdoors. And here comes the rain again. The name of a good song. Here comes the rain. So we'll go up here and take shelter from a large stand of Sitka spruce. So folks, I'm here taking shelter from rather wet and windy elements. It certainly looks a way off down in the valley there that it has the ingredients of being rather nasty as the day goes on. But hopefully we'll be well off the hills by then, or I'll be well off the hills by then. On another note, yesterday and today I was supposed to be trekking an offshore island, but I've been listening to the forecast for Storm Kathleen since Wednesday, and it's due to hit this afternoon. So I postponed my trip from the mainland on a small boat to the island of choice. So hopefully next Tuesday or Wednesday morning I'll be leaping from the poster onto the floor and heading 120 miles to catch a small boat to a distant island and having my day on foot out there. I'll enlighten you further over the weekend on my progress on that adventure. It's quite windswept here now. Now this storm, Kathleen, I'll take you home again, Kathleen. Remember the song? Perhaps not. But this storm, Kathleen, that's been forecasted for today and tonight and tomorrow, is supposed to have wind speeds of 110 to 112 kilometers an hour. I don't know. That's about 70 miles an hour or thereabouts. And it's quite wet now, and the technology is getting wet. So I have to take refuge in the high trees. Now, as you know, I'll walk and trek in all kinds of weather. It really doesn't matter to me. I've been out in glorious weather all last year, and so far this year, April 2024, I've walked in pretty bad and stormy, wet weather. And the worst one to date was the day I tackled the Sugarloaf and on to Knockville Down. That was the worst day I suppose I've ever walked in the past 5 years. I've never walked in weather like that, so severe, in over 5 years. But I don't really mind because I have the gear, as long as the equipment and moi is safe. But I'm usually very careful. I'll be honest with you, if you can hear me, there's something really invigorating about being out in weather like this. The showers are pretty severe, but the wind is certainly gathering momentum and velocity. So Perhaps it'll be on to my back as I return home. A little bit of useless information for all of you out there. This is the first week of April, and checking this morning on my walking appliances and totaling up the kilometers. Up to today, I walked 877 kilometers. 877 kilometers since the 2nd of January, and this is the first week of April. Well, hello again, folks. A different day and a morning that we can truly feel the power and ferociousness of Storm Kathleen. I've been walking now for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I find it virtually impossible to walk in a straight line. I'm being buffeted around the place like a feather. It's dry at the moment, but the showers are sporadic. But when they do arrive, they're bloody awful. On a different geographical location from yesterday morning. So, the fact that I'm out here walking in weather conditions like you can see and no doubt hear proves to myself and prove to you that I'm not just a walker, and I'm not just a fair weather walker. I'll walk in all conditions. It's what I am about. Now, we have all kinds of technicolor weather alerts for today, courtesy of the Weather Bureau of Ireland. So I hope you're all well out there. Those of you still in the four-poster, you chose well. Stay there until after lunch, until the beast that is called Storm Kathleen starts to blow across the Irish Sea towards Pommyland. Since I spoke to you last, it certainly seems that the wind has not stopped upwards. It is pretty wild. So I'm the only human being that's mad enough, I think, to go walking this morning. But, you know, there's a great sense of enjoyment having the experience of walking in conditions like this. Can't hear the wind here now because there's a great big forest there on my left-hand side. But when I turn the corner down here in a few moments, all that peace and quiet will change. I said to you people before that For me personally, I can only speak for myself this morning, but perhaps it applies to all people who do a lot of walking, or any kind of walking. And when you get out in the morning, regardless of what the issues were the day before and overnight and lingered into the morning, they dissipate into fresh air, literally, when I start walking. It gives you a sense of beginning, a sense of peace and calm, a sense of being alive, a sense of being grateful and indeed thankful for having the strength, the energy, the determination, the willpower and the ability to get out and enjoy the great outdoors, regardless of what the man above sends from the clouds. A long time ago I was asked a question about, do I have any problems with my hips, my knees, my ankles, my shoulders, my back, etc., etc. And the simple, straightforward answer is, no, I don't. And I should, I guess, considering the amount of walking that I'm doing. But when I do get a twitch, wherever I get a twitch, and I do get a twitch, I just walk into the pain. If you're going to be stopping and popping tablets and putting gel and things onto yourself, sure, my goodness me, the body then acquires the use of these on every step you take. Just walk into the pain and discomfort. Enjoy your walk. Don't focus on the destination. Focus on the journey. That is the secret. A lot of people focus on the tip of a mountain, the edge of a lake, the panoramic view from a cliff, and they murder themselves getting from A to B to enjoy the destination. You know me, I enjoy the walk from A to B, but it's the in-between, the A and B, that I love, not the destination. The destination you can enjoy when you get to the destination, but don't ruin the journey in between prior to the destination with the overwhelming desire that when I get to the top of the hill, the view is fantastic. Think about that. But I've met nobody. And I have a very, very sketchy mobile phone signal here now. And looking at a phone, my phone is pretty new. I have only 3G, where I'm always on 5G. But hopefully I won't have to make any SOS calls or pleas for help. Well, as you can see from the footage, I'm not on tracks and pathways well traveled. This particular one, I'd say, hasn't seen a human being for a long time. But there's one here this morning. Now I have a great big puddle to get across, as you can see behind me there. But I have good tires on. And just as I began to make my way across that mess right behind my right shoulder, I noticed absolutely hundreds and hundreds of frog spawn. So the weather has been so wet. It's been so wet for 7-8 weeks, 6-7-8 weeks now, that this is the result. This particular puddle is absolutely full of frog spawn, and I haven't seen quantities like that for many, many years. Last Thursday, I had a plan to head out to another offshore island and spend a day trekking out there. But as I said earlier, the weather killed that plan. So when you become dependent on ferries to take you from the mainland to an offshore island, obviously you need good weather for the ferries to sail. So I had to put that on hold. Now, this coming week, all being well, I will entertain that plan from last week, and hopefully, if conditions are favorable for a ferry to get from the mainland to the island that I intend to walk, well, I'm gone. I have 2 islands almost immediately to trek, followed by a very, very big island. Probably will leave that until the middle of May. I also have intentions, believe it or not, to once again tackle St. Declan's Pilgrim Way. You are probably aware that I took that trek on last summer, trekked for 5 days over 5 stages in absolutely stunning weather, and trekked through the most beautiful Tipperary and Waterford countryside. I started in Cashel, and my trek terminated at the Hermitage in Ardmore in County Waterford. Now, the trek that I am contemplating upon, and I did say last year in the videos that I produced, that I would do it in reverse. Not walking backwards now, folks, but I will begin in Ardmore at the Hermitage, and I will walk through County Waterford and finish my trek at Cashel, at the Rock of Cashel in County Tipperary. I will let you know when I'm about to embark on that, but that is the plan. I absolutely loved walking the St. Declan's Way, and I walked it alone. I've been taking shelter for the past 4 or 5 minutes or thereabouts from an absolute animal of a shower of rain. And there goes the sunshine. 2 seconds of Irish sunshine on a day that Storm Kathleen flies over the Emerald Isle. But I'm taking shelter here. You can hear it in the canopy, the rustling of the branches and so forth. There's bits and pieces falling off trees all around me, but I'm taking refuge here. And then we'll put some more kilometers onto the boots. Well, folks, if you can hear me, the wind is absolutely howling at my poor body right now. But I'm continuing on my way. In spite of the weather that I'm experiencing and have been since I departed home this morning, I'm enjoying this, thoroughly enjoying it. It's not easy going when you're facing into a gale like this. 60, 70 or 80 kilometers an hour gale. The gusts are quite brutal. The weather is closing in again. The wind is absolutely ferocious, howling past me and blowing me around the place like a leaf. But the sun is intermittent and coming and going and between the showers. But the gusts of wind are really, really strong and rather vicious. Sunbeams dancing across the field here now as I cross over from one end of the valley to the other. I told you that the farming land is absolutely inundated and saturated with water. I've seen 2 fields ploughed last week down in East Cork. Nothing is being ploughed. Slurry isn't being spread because they can't get onto the fields with heavy tankers and large heavy tractors and machinery. So I'm sure the same can be said about vegetable planting and cereal planting and cereal crops. But it's been a terrible and absolutely abysmal 6 to 7 weeks of horrendously wet weather. As I was saying there, the farming community is awfully frustrated, and the Department of Agriculture have begun making pleas to various farmers that might have fodder for feeding, because very few animals have been put out to grass. And this is April. I mean, May is the silage season. Grass is growing, but machinery cannot get onto the fields to do any kind of work at all. So hopefully in the next short while things will begin to improve weather-wise, because it's going to be a very sad spring if it continues like this into summer then. Well, folks, this is it. It's been the near end of my hike this morning. 20.7 k's. I surpassed the anticipation of what I had in mind. But anyway, it is what it is. It was a long walk. Conditions were rough at times. But again, you get so many seasons in half an hour, not in a day, in a half an hour here in dear old Ireland. The sun is out. It's dry. Big fluffy clouds rumbling overhead. The wind is coming from the southwest and it's belting the Emerald Isle ferociously. So saying all that, one big mouthful, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Have a good weekend. Take care of each other, mind the elderly. Stay safe on the roads, heed the warnings. I say that with a bit of humour, heed the warnings. But however, you be safe and be kind to each other and stick at the walking. Okay? Bye bye for now.